Hello and welcome to another episode of Booktube Bestie. I am in this video, I am reading Lexie's favorites. So if you don't already follow Lexie, Books with Lexie, she's kind of my new go-to like horror gal. I've really been loving Lexie's channel lately, and honestly Lexie as a person is just like absolutely incredible. And if you don't follow her, she does like a lot of reading sprints and a lot of reading vlogs over on her channel. You should definitely already subscribe to her. So when I asked Lexie to be a part of it, I actually did tell Lexie I think she had the hardest job because she was a horror booktuber that I was asking instead of a person who predominantly reads fantasy. She was obviously gonna recommend me horror, and I do like horror, but like my horror tastes are a little more unknown. So I sent her like a list of books I liked and list of books I disliked in the horror category, see if that would help her. She ended up giving me two options for best. She gave me Sundial by Katrina Ward as well as The Last Housewife. I don't know who this is by, but it's that like cult one. I actually am really excited to read both of these. She did tell me that she thinks I will probably like The Last Housewife better, but that there's a chance that I could like Sundial. But the thing is, I've read The Last House on Needless Street by the same author and I didn't love that. So it's like a little could be, could not be. I ended up going with Sundial just because it's on Scribd, so I could get it really quickly and I didn't have to like pay extra for anything. So sorry Lexie that I picked the harder book for you. You gave me two options and I honestly don't know anything about Sundial like at all. I'm going into this completely blank, so I'll have to wait until I'm reading to get like a brief synopsis because I have no idea what this is about, and I think that's like a good way to go into a horror book. And then for the worst, she was really nice to me and she picked Stolen Tongues, which I own somewhere, but I'm not going to hold up, and I'm going to make editing Cassidy's life hard by making you pop something up here. Stolen Tongues is a book that's been on my TBR for like way too long. I know a lot of people who love it. I know a lot of people who dislike it. So it's interesting that it is on Lexie's dislikes. I know why she disliked it. We've talked about it, but I'm interested to see where I sit on the Stolen Tongues spectrum. Stolen Tongues is about a man and wife, I said that really weird, that go to a cabin. There's a monster outside and he notices really quickly that his wife is actually whispering back to the monster outside, which sounds like really creepy. I think it's like snowy, so winter is a perfect time to read it. I own a physical copy because it's actually my sister's that I borrowed because she liked Stolen Tongues, and then I also believe it's on Scribd. So this really worked out for me, and it'll be a quick one because it's horror, and I'm excited because it should help me understand my horror taste a little bit better. I started Sundial and it's weird. This book is so weird so far. I'm only a chapter in. It has for some reason gives me the vibes of the Comfort Me and Apples, which I didn't like, so that's not a good thing. But, well, I would say it gives me the vibes between Comfort Me and Apples and of course like Last House on Needless Street. Obviously Last House on Needless Street and Sundial, the same author, but like it meets in the middle somewhere, like writing style and then like vibes of that one. I didn't like either of those books, so this is not looking good. I mean, when Lexie gave me this book, she was like, I know you hated Katrina Ward, but like there could be a chance that you like this. I think this was like a hopeful pick, but not a for sure pick. Her other pick that she had given me would have been a more for sure, but I couldn't get access to that one, so that's why we're getting this one. But yeah, so far it's really weird, but I'm not far in, so I'll update you later. Honestly, I have no good update for you other than like, what the frick am I reading? It's so weird. It's just literally so weird. That's all. I have no other words for you. I don't know if it's good or bad yet. It's just weird is how I'm feeling.
Just where he was needed. Clean me back as night. Cloistered injustice.
We hope you enjoy this production of Sundial, a Mel Lenore Productions and Vortex Iron.
Hello! So I am in the hot tub in the middle of winter, being the most Canadian thing I could ever do. Like, toque on, in the hot tub. I got a Caesar because, you know, Caesars are Canadian, so I'm just living my best Canadian life right now. But I finished Sundial, and so I figured I would update you on it, although the sun is really bright and this clip could get scrapped. But we'll see. If it does, I'll like swap you on over to me talking inside, but I think my thoughts are, what the frick did I just read? I do not think Katrina Ward is for me. There's something about her books. I found this happened for me in both Sundial and Last House on Needless Street, where like I'm interested, and then like she really obviously tells me what the twist is gonna be, but I still have like 50% of the book left, and I'm just sitting there and I'm like waiting for it to happen. I'm like, just get it over with now. And then by the time the twist actually happens, I'm like bored of the book. So like the twist didn't matter, it didn't work for me, I didn't care for it because like I already knew what was happening so early on in the book, and like, why is this book so long is kind of how I feel about it. But with Sundial specifically, I almost want to say this book went over my head. To be honest, I'm not exactly sure what happened in the story. I get the gist of it, but there's parts of it that I feel like I don't know if I just missed something or they weren't there, or you're supposed to like make these thoughts yourself and like come up with a solution, an idea why things would happen. I don't really understand a lot of what happened. Not gonna lie. I didn't see how, the same way that Last House on Needless Street is, I did not see how this book is horror. Because like, you can think of two types of horror books. You can think of the horror books that like terrify the readers, and you can think of the horror books where you're like, oh, this would be a terrifying situation for the protagonist to be in. I don't think this really fits into either of them. Like, I never felt unnerved for our protagonist, and I never felt unnerved as the reader. So like, how is this a horror book for me? I don't really know. And I felt the exact same way with Last House on Needless Street, but this one a little bit more. I felt that way. Like, at least with Last House on Needless Street, I could see it a little bit more. I think I would put both these books as a psychological thriller and not a psychological horror, but I don't know, maybe that's my own bias. I don't know. Obviously everything's subjective, so like, can't really tell you. Also, it could be really foggy in here, and my eyes could be like squinting the entire time because it's really bright. You know, the snow and the ice down below is reflecting. We have figured out that I think Katrina Ward's not for me. I have a feeling I'm gonna read another book by her because there's something about it that I really want to like. Like, I see elements of a really good story. They just like the execution in the end. Other than that, like, I think I was really confused with a lot of the characters. I think what I really didn't understand was the like ghost teacher thingy. I don't even know how to explain it. Like, I don't know. I don't really know how I feel about it, besides that I didn't really enjoy it. It got a 2-star, not a 1-star from me, so like, it's not like the worst book possible. It probably won't make it onto my worst books of the year. Other than that, I don't really have a lot to say. Characters kind of got muddled and lost for me at some point with like all of the timelines, and then also like the ghost timeline. And like, I'm a high fantasy reader. You think that I could like keep track of these things, but something about it just like confused me. I think it was the names and them calling a bunch of names. Also, I don't like when people say my own name in books and they call one character Cassidy as like a joke, and I also didn't feel like that mattered at all. And I was like, why can't you just call them by their actual name? I hate when books do that. I don't know why. It's like a big pet peeve of mine. Don't make books harder with like nicknames that don't have to do with the actual character. Like, if their name is Cassidy and you call them Cass, fine. If their name is Katrina and you call them Kath, or like Kathleen and you call them Kath, anything like that, fine. But if someone's name is Jack and you call them Cassidy, why do you have to make it more confusing than it already is? I felt like there was a lot of plot holes in it, like loose ends that I didn't get tied up. Maybe I missed something, as I said. Maybe the book just didn't work for me, but subjectively, it just wasn't a book for me. Ended up getting a 2-star for me. My enjoyment was quite low by the last half of this book. The first half was stronger, and I was liking it. I was weirded out, but like, I was like, what is going on in like a could be good, could be bad way, but by the end of this book, I was just done with it. Other than that, we're gonna move on to Stolen Tongues, which is on Lexi's worst books, but I'm hopeful. I'm actually really hopeful I'm gonna love this one. So let's get to reading. Hi, I'm probably 15-20% into Stolen Tongues at this point, and I just wanted to update you, and I'm at my cabin, so it's a phone update, but then I'm liking it so far. I'm really scared that Lexi's predictions are going to go the opposite directions, because obviously I didn't like the last one, and I think I might like this one a lot. But when I watched Lexi's worst of the year, she did say it was like a lot about the twist and stuff, and we'll see if that bothers me. because we haven't gone there yet. Hello, it's been a couple days and I have finished Stolen Tongues, but I needed to update you guys all on it. I ended up actually enjoying this one. Sorry, Lexi. I gave it a 3 stars in the end. There was a lot of elements I liked, but there were some things I didn't like. I really liked the atmosphere of this. I love the idea of someone whispering to you, someone talking back, someone outside your house that you see but never see their face, someone who is leaving like messages on your window. I found all of that very like creepy and terrifying. I really liked the horror elements of this story. It was a little repetitive for me. It does kind of just like drag on a little bit, but I was always still intrigued. So I don't think that's a very huge negative, but it is there, and it was something that I did notice at times, like this is very repetitive and we probably could have cut some of those things out. I liked the characters in this, although it's mostly about 2 characters and you don't really care about any of the other characters. I will say the characters are probably not the strong suit. I think with this story is that it is a plot-driven book, and whether you like the plot and the ideas that are happening in the mystery about the monster and what the monster's trying to figure out is whether you like this book, because the characters are a little bit lacking. Although I enjoyed the characters, they're not like, oh my god, I love you. They're so fleshed out, really big, bold personalities. I know what they eat for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I feel like I'm a part of them. They're not that kind of character. They're just kind of there, and they add to the spookiness of the entire book. I think really what it was for me is this was just kind of like more action-packed and had a lot of more spooky elements to it. Like that is just kind of what I like in horror, is a more fast-paced story that is spooky and thrilling at all times versus like a drawn-out psychological story. So I liked being able to see a tangible element within this story that was like horrific. Now, I don't really have anything else to say. Like, my thoughts on this are not super strong. Like, it was an enjoyable read. It's a mediocre 3-star read. In the stats that I've given so far, this is lower than both Hidden Pictures and Project Hail Mary for my reads of the year. Like, it's a 3-star, but this is the lowest 3-star I've given so far this year. But I still enjoyed it, and I still had a good time with it, and I understand why so many people love it, but I also understand why so many people dislike it. Like, I understand why most people sit on one side of the spectrum, and I kind of just sit somewhere in the middle where this was like a mediocre read, not my favorite horror, but not my least favorite. Anyways, I think I'm rambling trying to like explain more things, but I just don't have anything to say to you. Like, I just had a fun time with this story, and I think if you're looking for a creepy story, like if you're looking for this house with someone outside of it and like a little bit of a mystery of why they're so interested in you, that works for you. I do think I wish that they were stuck in this house longer or for the entire book. I didn't like that they went elsewhere in the story as much. But other than that, I enjoyed it. I had fun with it. So 3 stars. So that puts Lexi on a score of 4, which puts her in 2nd place, or last place, because no one else has been read besides her and Mel. Currently for the scoreboard, she gained 3 for Sundial because she gave it a 5-star and I gave it a 2-star, and then she gained 1 for Stolen Tongues because she gave it a 2-star and I gave it a 3-star. Interestingly enough, Lexi did say that at the time of reading it on YouTube and in her vlog, she gave it 3 stars, but when I asked her what she rated it, she told me that it's now more of a 2-star and that she would count as a 2-star, but she was just a little bit more generous at that time in her reading, and it's a book that she kind of sat on a little bit longer. So I wonder if I'll feel that way. Like, I do wonder, considering I gave it a lower 3, will I feel that way later on? Something I did learn from this video and about mine and Lexi's taste is that we do not agree on favorites all the time. Like, if Lexi loves a book, that does not mean I'm going to instantly love it. But I think I have discovered that often when Lexi dislikes a book, I'm not going to love that book. Maybe I'll like it a little bit more than she did, but it's not going to be a new favorite. So that's why I like Booktube Bestie, because I think it's really interesting to see not only the favorites we have in common, but the dislikes in common, because now I know when I'm watching Lexi's channel and she said, wow, I didn't like this story that much, I too know that I probably won't love that story too much. So that's why I like to read the worst too. I know some people are against it, but I think it's a really interesting take, and I think that in order to know someone's recommendations, I need to know both sides. So yeah, thank you, Lexi, for participating in this, and you know, we'll see where you end up on the scoreboard later on. You had definitely the hardest job with picking only horrors and being great. I I have nothing else to say. Let me know down below if you've read either of these books and if you liked them or not. Let me know who you think is coming up next. I have no idea what books I'm reading, but like just throw out a name out there. If you're not feeling chatty and you'd like to leave me an emoji down below just to say hi, you can leave me like is there like a cabin or like just like a snowy emoji because we're locked in a snowy house. I love this cover. I love it so much. Also, my sister is going to be so excited that I read this now because she's been asking me to do it for like a year. And then if you'd like to connect with me on other platforms, my Bookstagram, my Book Twitter, my Goodreads, and my Patreon are all linked in the description bar below. See you guys soon in another episode of Booktube Bestie.